What is the Empire? That question widely depends on the time and place of where you pick. During the 24th century, the Empire was best represented as a race of man who fights for their very survival every day, being assailed by all manner of monsters, horrors in the night, and worst of all, the whispers of the dark gods whose forked tongue sways the weak-willed with promises of unattainable glory. During this time, Karl Franz reigns as emperor. Volkmar the Grim proclaims Sigmar atop his war altar, holding the ghastly sight of the vampire counts at bay. As we may be familiar with this period, we will be going back in time to the setting of the empire during and before the reign of Magnus the Pious. We shall also look at the structure of the empire, as well as how they conducted themselves on the battlefield. Welcome to the Empire Lore Introduction. The beginning of the Empire is a well-told story, and is known from lowly peasants to the Elector Counts. That story tells of a warrior king who was able to unify all the tribes of man and bind them together as one nation. This was achieved after the Battle of Blackfire Pass over 2,500 years ago. This one nation would be held together by different city-states, rulers, cultures, allowing the empire to flourish through diversity. This was Sigmar's dream, as he forged an empire so vast that to this day it still stretches from the Sea of Claws in the frozen north all the way down to the Black Mountains in the south. The lands that fill in between those landmarks are known as follows: Reichland, Sturland, Hochland, Averland, Wissenland, Talabecland, Ostermark, Nordland, Ostland, Middenland, and Mootland. This totals us to 11 electoral provinces in current era. It is said that once Sigmar carved out his glorious empire, he went off to the east and ascended into godhood, furthermore becoming a legend. Today we see Sigmar's divinity reflected in the empire as the cult of Sigmar. Sigmar, the warrior and patron god, is not the only god worshipped within the empire. There are others such as Tal, Raya, Manon, and Ulrich, which are popular in the north, as well as Mor, Verena, Mimirda, Shyla, and Renald. These gods are predominantly worshipped in the south. This polytheistic society has been a major point of contention and has left the empire fractured and divided due to the opposition of others' faith. As well, religious leaders constantly pull the strings of their electoral counts. The empire we are being reintroduced to by the Old World takes place in the 23rd century, and would go on to be met with hardship but end in peace and prosperity throughout the lands. In the 23rd century, the empire is extremely fractured, beset by bureaucracy and religious dissonance, as we just covered. However, leading up to the 23rd century, the empire would find itself embroiled in a cursed battle against Manfred von Karstein. This war would be coined the Vampire Wars, and it would last from 2010 to 2145 Imperial Calendar. The Vampire Wars would end with Manfred being cut down by Prince Martin of Sturland, thus allowing Sturland to take Sylvania as its prize. One would think after facing such a terrible evil that there would be unity. However, that was not the case. It wasn't until an even greater war came along to bind the fractious empire. This war would be known as the Great War Against Chaos, lasting from 2302 to 2304 Imperial Calendar. During this time, Prague would be sacked and corrupted. The warriors led by Asivar Kul, the 12th ever chosen, would sail down through the Sea of Claws, causing terror and fear, all while the Elector Counts selfishly hold on to power, too untrustworthy of anyone other than themselves to allow them to concede their military and power for the benefit of their own people. That was, of course, until Magnus the Pious came about. Magnus was said to have been exposed to the flame of Ulrich and found just and virtuous. It is also said he walked into the fire on his own without the consent of our Ulrich Kirstov. However, Magnus would go on to accomplish much more than being true. He would work alongside Teclis, defeat Asivar Kul, clean and root out chaos throughout the empire, create the College of Magic, form a conclave for the different faiths to meet and come to agreements, as well as establish the Imperial Gunnery School. During this time period, for once, the empire would know peace. It is in my opinion that if Magnus the Pious did not rise up to lead the empire would have fallen in the 23rd century at the hand of Asivar Kul. The empire, despite being founded long ago, held on to their structure of governance, once set in place by their god king Sigmar. This governmental structure is known as a city-state. These states would be known to have their own government, laws, religion, as long as the empire accepted said religion, and culture. It is within this diversity that the empire strives and perseveres through some of the darkest and harrowing times imaginable, which moves us along to the armies of the state. These disciplined soldiers are known to wear the bright colors of their state. These uniformed men are known to also form the bulk of the empire's army. While rank upon rank of spearmen and halberdiers march, they are covered by supporting fire hailing from bricks of handgunners as well as crossbowmen. This is but a taste of the army, for these are but mortal men, and in a world of monsters and ghosts, more is needed to keep these soldiers safe. Something along the lines of faith, steel, and gunpowder. as coined by Magnus the Pious. After the establishment of the Imperial Gunner School, we would see war machines of death pepper the enemy lines and break the toughest of warriors' backs, sending them fleeing from where they came. From great cannons to volley guns, the Imperial Gunner School is always trying to stay competitive in a world so entirely bent upon the destruction of man and the Empire. Another new thing introduced would be the mages that would churn out of the College of Magic. With Magnus's blessing and Teclis's help, the College of Magic would teach people how to harness their power rather than be consumed by it. It would also allow the Stop of Chaos from getting more recruits to their ranks, as well as keep citizens from fearing their life upon the discovery of their magical attunement. The last contribution Magnus would give the Empire to fight off its enemies would be a redefined faith in Sigmar, and the humble warrior priests would march alongside their fellow soldiers into war, screaming litanies and smashing down their foe with the might of their god at their back. To sum up, the Empire, with all its flaws and inner power struggles, is still one of the strongest empires in the Old World, especially in the 23rd century. I look forward to seeing how the Old World will expand upon this lore and covering it here on the channel. If you like this type of content, please be sure to like and subscribe. Every Friday I will do an introductory lore video, and Tuesday and Wednesday do an army breakdown so we can all determine what army and faction is right for us. Until next time, I appreciate you all very much. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you on Monday for a lore video on Runefangs. Peace.